Hey YouTube, it's Eric. I'm gonna try to keep this video pretty quick. I'm just gonna be continuing on the last video I did on the Sandyhook police officer, Irish Roman Catholic Paul Vance, who was leading the press corps. I just found additional Roman Catholic connections to Sandyhook that are definitely worth mentioning. And to me, it shows that the whole. I think I already proved it in the last video, but to me, it shows that the Roman Catholics are behind this whole psychological warfare operation. When you actually think about what the psychological warfare operation is, it's identical to Cardinal Spellman's very sinister, sophisticated psychological warfare operation that was carried out against communists. Essentially, it's the Red Witch Hunt from the 50s, but now all these school shootings are getting us on the War on Terror witch hunt, okay, and domestic terrorist witch hunt. That's what it's all about, okay. But I'm gonna show you here, and it's literally identical. Like, there's so many. Like, the mainstream media has always had a political agenda to it. You know, it was Roman Catholic Papal Knight William Randolph Hearst, with his Hearst publications, um, persuaded and convinced America to launch the Spanish-American War on behalf of the vast imperialistic trusts of America and the Catholic Church. Okay, but here are the connections here. So I want to start with the lawyer. Okay, where was this here? Give me a second. Okay, so this is another Roman Catholic connection. So this is the prosecutor behind the Sandy Hook report. Okay, and I'm going to show you this here. But the lawyer's name was Dansbury State Attorney Stephen J. Sendensky III. He was the quote, "the calm but focused eye of the storm" in the nearly year-long investigation after the massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary shooting. Good joke. Actually, you know what? Let me find my phone here in case anyone pops in the chat. Okay, so I found out about this lawyer though. Okay, look at this. Okay, you see here, Sedensky, the Sandy Hook lawyer, grew up in the Black Rock section of Bridgeport, the eldest of 7 children, in what, guys? A religious Roman Catholic family. Okay, just like you have the head of the press corps, a Roman Catholic, you have the attorney prosecuting the case is a Roman Catholic. Okay. His father, Stephen Sedensky Jr., a longtime Bridgeport lawyer and part-time city attorney, was active in the Catholic St. Anne's Church and served as president of the Bridgeport Board of Education. Well, that's just concerning. Like, well, like the Catholics have already taken over education, but just read Pope Pius the Ninth encyclical of Errors in 1964, and just see what he has to say about education. Yeah, it's pretty totalitarian. Okay. And you see here the younger Sedensky attended St. Anne's School and graduated from Notre Dame High School, both Catholic schools, before enrolling at Plymouth State College. Okay, but the attorney for the prosecuting attorney that was prosecuted Adam Lanza, the absolute ridiculous official story that Adam Lanza, um, essentially like a 14-year-old kid with Asperger's, pulled this off by himself. Um, just a mockery to all of reason. And again, guys, the Pope says that he can make square things round. Okay, just take that in. The Pope says, and the Catholics actually believe this. Okay, because the Catholics view the Pope as God. Okay, like that's read some Pope Leo the 13th, Pope Pius the Ninth. Okay, like the Pope views him. The Pope is God in Catholic doctrine. Okay. Okay, but look at this Roman Catholic family there for the lawyer. Okay, so the next connection here. Um, you see here. Actually, I'm gonna play the video of this on my phone. But actually, so I plugged in on the map here of Newtown or Sandy Hook, Connecticut. Okay, and look how close. Because I know that there's a Jesuit university in Connecticut, Jesuit Fairfield University. It's very prominent. You should honestly check out the alumni. Fairfield has the alumni list posted, and just see the massive prominent names that come out of Fairfield. But look how close Sandy Hook is to Fairfield. Only 27 miles. You can get there's one route here where it's only 21 miles. Okay, so like the Jesuits coordinated the PSYOP, and actually not coincidentally, like the Jesuit Campion College and the PSYOP, like the Roman Catholic fake shooting PSYOP I covered in LaRouche, Saskatchewan. Um, there was the Jesuit Campion College was within like 100 miles away. Okay, that's not a coincidence that Sandy Hook is so close. to Jesuit Fairfield. Actually, I'm gonna pull up this ABC clip. There's a just like actually there's a lot of parallels to Sandyhook in that uh, Saskatchewan psyop. There just like well like the town up in Saskatchewan was smaller, but Sandyhook is a pretty small town, like only like I think 10,000 people, and there's a Catholic church there coincidentally. And it was at the Catholic church actually that the Catholic church had the funerals for the victims. So like just a mock job. Okay, let me see here. Priest. It's horrible. I'm gonna play this interview off my phone. Horrible job of telling Newtown parents of children's deaths. And see, and this priest just sounds completely like monotone and like emotionless, like through this whole thing, because like it's a political, it's a complete political psychological warfare agenda. So like he had to be on his toes in that sense. But it just shows you there's no empathy being shown. Where is the video? Okay, here's the clip. This is ABC's George Stephanopoulos doing this interview, and look at this actually. This is that Monsignor Robert Weiss. He says, "I'll always be the Newtown priest." End quote. Yeah, there's just an ad here. I link this in the description. I recommend you watch this. It just shows you like how much of a hoax this thing really was. Okay, actually, I'll show you the picture of him at the beginning here. Oh. Oh my technology is a little glitchy. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm gonna play this interview here that this Sandyhook Parents Together pledge. The guy's name here though, Monsignor Robert Weiss. I thought this clip had a picture of him up. I apologize. I'll just show you what this guy looks like. So Murray Shotland was the archbishop that was pulling the strings at up in LaRouche, Saskatchewan, with the Jesuits at Campion College. Monsignor Robert Weiss with the Jesuits at Fairfield was coordinating this with all the Roman Catholics, like Paul Vance in the police department, Roman Catholic attorney right here. Okay, Sedensky. Okay, you had the Jesuit trained Roman Catholic governor of Connecticut, Dan Malloy. Okay, connections are all over the place. Here's what the guy looks like though. This was the Sandyhook Archbishop. Okay. There he is. Okay, I'm gonna play this interview.
Have to live with the reality that this big part of their life is gone.
This is the interview I'm playing right here.
So many of these families are actually part of your parish. A number of these families are members of our parish community. Yes.
A number of these families are members of our parish community.
I have baptized a couple of them. They go to our.
Did you hear this?
To our nursery school. Some of them attend religious education at our parish, preparing for.
Yeah. So okay. So you recruited a few of your flock to partake in this military operation, coordinating the Jesuits, who are a military order. That's why the 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite Masonry, which coincidentally the motto of the 32nd degree of the Royal Secret is ad morgium el gloriam, which is the motto of the Jesuits, and the 32nd degree is referred to as the military degree.
No answer ever really comes back to them. It's just something they have to live with.
This guy's completely monotone. Did you hear that? Family members were part of the parish. All church members. What a joke. And then he does this fake hug with the reporter at the end of the video. Wow. This is so blatantly and like I can't believe how fake this is. But here's the church here that all the family members, like the majority of the supposed victims, are members of this church, St. Rose of Lima Church in Newtown, Connecticut. These guys coordinated this thing. Okay. And where was this? There's one more article here. Yeah, I linked this in the description. I'm not gonna read this out because I don't want the video going too long. This WordPress account here, exposemagis.wordpress, put together in one page a lot of suspicious, fishy behavior of this Monsignor Robert Weiss. You just heard him in the interview there, like he kind of very self-incriminating to me at least. Like he admits that the majority of the family members are members of the church. And actually, you know what? They had where was this article here? Yeah, look at so um, the most public event will take Saturday. This is on the NorthJersey.com news source. You see it at the Saint Newtown Saint Rosa Lima Roman Catholic Church, where funerals for many of the victims were held. Okay, following a request by the Jesuit educated at Boston College, Connecticut, Daniel Malloy, for the state's churches to ring bells 26 times in memory of each of the shooting victims at 9:30 a.m. Saturday. St. Rose Lima Catholic Church plans to unveil its quote new bells of consolation end quote. So you got the Roman Catholic Jesuit educated governor calling for all the state's churches to ring bells in memory of all these fake deaths, who the parents of these fake deaths were all Roman Catholic members of the Newtown St. Rose of Lima Church. And again, Newtown is so close to Fairfield, that can't be a coincidence. Okay. I'm just going to see if anyone's in the chat here. That's pretty much this all the other intrigues I wanted to show you. Okay. Oh, thanks, Renee. Oh, like, do you mean like she believes like the official story? Like I would say like the best way to debunk like the official story or like the official mainstream rollout of it is to just show them how the mainstream news was actually, well, like the Catholic press. This is the same Catholic press that's the offshoot of like the Hearst and Henry Luce empires. Okay, William or yeah, the Hearst and Luce empires. But the press literally said that the Adam Lanza fit a shotgun in the glove compartment of his Honda Civic, and just show her this like just tell her like the show her like the size of a shotgun, like dimension wise, and just tell her how like a shotgun cannot physically fit in a Honda Civic, like in a glove compartment of a Honda Civic. It's impossible. I think that would be like just really. I wouldn't start with like the deep like geopolitical like Roman Catholic connections. I would start with smaller stuff like that. It'll kind of get her his or hers critical thinking going. It, I know some people too are like very rigid like skeptic. Like it'll if 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 they come across information that even remotely resembles like they'll say like, oh, this is just a conspiracy theory, this is just a conspiracy theory, and like they immediately shut down. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, honestly, I gotta look more into the I gotta look into like the like I know the LaRouche, Saskatchewan shooting that I covered. There was no medical reports released. I'm gonna look into the medical reports released from this psyop. But yeah, oh yeah, vaccines. Oh yeah, that's all part of the Inquisition. You know, you got your Federal Bureau of Inquisition, you got the Department of Rome Land Security, you got the Catholic Intelligence Agency. They're all working together. That's why like on the website of the NSA, they have the NSA website. Literally on the website there's the keys of St. Peter. You can see the two like papal keys on the website. Okay. And like Archbishop Cushing, like actually from Connecticut, said um, in 1956 that it's sort of a conspiracy that the Catholic Church is trying to make America Catholic. And what we're seeing today is just a manifest of that. Just it's kind of I don't really like I try to be optimistic for the future, but knowing what has happened in countries when Catholicism has taken over, and then just seeing kind of like the lazy, hazy state of consciousness that like the masses are in, like I'd say that they're literally like it's borderline like complete political blindness for I would say 90% of the population. So in the Jesuits, you're dealing with like some of the most sophisticated diabolical masterminds that the world has ever brought to an existence with the Jesuits, especially like Superior General Lorenzo Ricci, Aquavia, um, Jesuit General Diego Lainez, the way he dominated the Council of Trent. Like you're dealing with some diabolical beings here, guys, and I just don't see the masses in a state of consciousness right now to change anything. But that's why like I keep trying. I don't care about what other people think about me. I do what I do in the spirit of truth. So that's all you got to do. Just live your life, and but that's part of an agenda too. Like you don't want to get too riled up about what's going on because part of what like the Jesuits do by engaging. or mobilizing their disinformation agents on the internet is to get you kind of all mentally imbalanced, and you can't let what's going on corrupt the ultimate outlook on life. But as we see here, we took a class on how they classify that. I'll have to look into that. Well, like that, I'm sure it's very interesting because like it's all like based on is that are you going to like death certificates? Oh yeah, like that. I'm sure that enters the realm of the legal fiction. Absolutely. And actually, like one of the words that really woke me up to the legal fiction. I read it in Black's Law 8th edition, but it was the word insinuare. Insinuare. Like, and that the insinuare means to be legally deposited into like a court of record, and that's literally exactly what the Jesuits did when you draft a birth certificate. You know what I mean? And actually, coincidentally, like this kind of like the Emergency Banking Act, which is kind of like furthered this kind of like Rome's military dictatorships, coup d'etats, strength on like our kind of liberties. FDR, who signed the Banking Act, like what you can see it when FDR is being inaugurated, um, in 1932, you can see there's a few members of the Knights of Columbus that are dressed in their full knighthood gear in the background. Yeah. Um, exactly. Like, people got to remember life is good. You don't let this corrupt your outlook, but you have to be realistic on the geopolitical conditions, and just try your best to inform people on what's going on. But I think I'm gonna call it there. I think this video is getting a little longer than I anticipated, but I just want to go over these connections one more time. You have the Newtown lawyer, through the whole case from a devout Roman Catholic family. Yeah, you had the Newtown priest here, Monsignor Robert Weiss, is very suspicious behavior. You have the whole basic family, the victims of the supposed murder are members of Monsignor Robert Weiss's church. The Catholic Church is a Catholic church in Newtown, a very small town. Okay. Um, so like it's not a coincidence that like the town they picked has a Catholic church because like Catholic churches are pretty much everywhere, but not every single small town has a Catholic church. So like this was picked. It's very close to Jesuit Fairfield University, and actually right after this whole hoax, you saw the massive gun control agenda become the Vatican's gun control agents become mobilized. Obama pressed for gun control, and then Benedict openly praised Obama's gun control claims. Yeah. You saw Jesuit Greg Boyle call for gun control immediately right after Sandyhook. So there's definitely an agenda to it. And like I said in the beginning of the video, compared the current witch hunt that's being um, thrown in the media, getting you scared about like your neighborhood terrorist and getting you scared about Al Qaeda, getting you scared about ISIS, getting you scared about Russia. Actually, they're still doing the Russia fear porning. You know what I mean? Getting you scared about um, Iran when Iran has just been a puppet papal government since Operation Ajax in 1953. You know what I mean? Like they get you scared with so many boogeyman, false constructed boogeymans, and they never get you. They divert you with so much bullshit, and it prevents you from looking at the true reality of who's pulling the strings. It's the Roman Catholic Church. And it's so obvious. That's why all the world leaders go bow and kiss the Pope's hand. That's why all the leaders of the ecumenical churches go kiss the Pope's hand. That's why there's Roman fasces right in the U.S. House of Representatives. That's why there's a Roman reef on the UN. Yeah, I can keep going on and on and on. I could be here for hours. Okay. Oh yeah, Yale and Harvard, Skull and Bones connect. Oh yeah. Well, I think interestingly, the whole Bush clan. Actually, I played a video on shared a video on my channel. George Bush sees God in the eyes of Pope Benedict, which is actually the basic Catholic teaching, because the Pope calls himself God. So it's actually normal if you understand Catholicism. But most Catholics don't know like how deeply entrenched their cult really is, and they have no idea what they're affiliated with because they haven't studied history. Um, yeah, the whole Bush clan is involved in like Skull and Bones, going back to the Brown Brothers Harriman and the days like funding the Nazis with Fritz Thyssen. But the first key banker in the Bush family, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna cut the video. I'm gonna actually I'll show you this. This is important. A lot of people don't make this connection with George Bush. They kind of stop at the Skull and Bones, but they don't make the Jesuit connection. And this is why um, George Bush's brother Jeb Bush is a full-on Knight of Columbus. That's why George H.W. Bush, Skull and Bones, former head of the Catholic Intelligence Agency, wrote a letter addressed to this, or he spoke at the National Knights of Columbus Convention in 1983. Here you go. Look at this. So George Herbert Walker was an American banker, businessman, and maternal grandfather of President George H.W. and great grandfather of President George W. Bush, both who are named in his honor. And look at this. So both Bushes who are named in the honor of George Herbert Walker. Walker was educated at Stonyhurst College, a Jesuit boarding school in England. Yeah, that's all for this one, guys. Take care.